Okay, so welcome back to the good old steel table creation exercise. And here we've got all the gussets. I've put the middle ones on there now, same way as I did the ones on the corners in the previous video. And this is going to be one seriously strong table. But I was just looking at it, and I didn't notice anything on the sketch about having any feet or supports on the bottom. Usually, this table is meant to hold an industrial blower and some pretty heavy motors with a drive system on there. So it needs to have some kind of feet that you can bolt it to the ground. Sometimes they also use the feet to connect to a vibration or some type of a machine mount or isolation mount. So I think it really should have some base plates on there. So I think we should go and add some in. And once again, that's something we need to roll back the rollback bar for. And let's just pull that back to the original leg there. And let's go about making a base plate. Probably the most practical way to do it would be to just sketch on that plane there and just make a rectangular base plate. And I'm going to make mine facing in. And although there's lots of ways you could do it, I think what I'll do is I'll just get a center line here and I'll make it coincident with that center line. And actually I didn't want to make it vertical. Let's just undo that and make it horizontal. There we go. That's what I was after. So now it's centered up, and I'll leave let's say ½ inch so the guy can weld it all around. That sounds more than reasonable. And I need to leave some room for a bolt hole on this side. So I'm going to make it, I'll make it 3 inches, but it probably is going to be too much. And I'll just make this one on the other side here. I'll make this one ½ inch so it's consistent all the way around. And we'll give it a, let's give it a ½ inch base plate on the bottom. And that should be plenty enough to hold this thing. And as for a hole here, I'm just going to drop a 13/16 hole in. Use a 3/4 bolt, which is again pretty substantial. I think a 3/4 is the largest Hilti quick bolt that you use for joining these things to a concrete floor. So let's make this one 13/16 for a 3/4 bolt, and we'll just get the bolt hole centered up here, same way as I did the pad, and it needs a horizontal line. And we made this 3 inches, so this would be, I should really put the dimension on the other side. Usually in a structural steel shop they have distances called gauges that tell you how far to put holes away from other members so that there's enough wrench clearance. And this one I'm going to set at 1 1/8. I think that's the right gauge for that. And that should give the operator plenty of wrench clearance to install that table. So I'm going to cut that through now. There we go. And with that 1 1/8, the 3 inches looks maybe a little too big. Maybe I can cut that back to 2.5, maybe even 2 inches. Let's say 2.5. And there. That doesn't look too bad. And what I'll do is I'll now move this ahead to where the mirrors are, and we'll get these mirrored to the appropriate locations. This mirror here, I'll pick up this one, and the other mirror, I'll just edit that one, and I'll add in these two legs, these two base plates. So now we've got 4 base plates, and we'll have to do the same darn thing with the other two. So now we've probably just the easiest way is to just pattern, so we can probably make use of the same pattern that I used for the middle legs. And let's just find that pattern. There's the pattern there, so we'll just edit and bodies. Let's see if we can pick up these 2 plates here, and that gives us our legs. And if we pull the rollback bar right to the end, we get our tabletop back. And now there is our terribly strong steel table. One other thing, since I added a 1/2 inch base plate, I need to shorten that leg to maintain the dimension, or otherwise I'm going to gain an 1/2 inch, and the engineer is probably going to get very upset with me. So we'll take off a 1/2 inch from that to maintain the height, and that should shorten all 6 legs at once. There we go, and there's our table, and we're continuing on.